Good, whatever the time of the day or night it happens to be while you're watching this. My name's Max Furno. I'm the media and graphic designer for Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service. As always, we've got Pete Cole working his magic behind the camera.
Hello viewers.
And we'd like to welcome you to the podcast. Now, you weren't with us last time, Pete. Learned your lesson. Next time you need to go down to the cellar without a key, you'll be sure to let someone know, won't you?
That's right, it's not very good phone reception down there.
Excellent. So this time we've come to Trowbridge Fire Station, and we'd like to thank Guy and his crew for putting up with us. There's also some corporate staff based here, so we'd like to thank them as well. As usual, it is a working fire station, so, you know, do we need to keep saying this all the time? If the bells go, put up with it. It could happen. It's only happened once. You may have noticed a slight change to Pete's editing technique. Pete, what's that about?
That's right, Max. So I am now employing a term that is used by millions of YouTubers around the world now. And it's a way of embracing with our younger millennial audience, and it is called a hard cut.
A hard cut? Pete, what is a hard cut?
Yes, so this is an example of a hard cut.
Well, I think you've just illustrated that very well there, Pete.
Excellent. And what that means for me is I don't have to set up so many cameras and don't have to take so much time within the editing process, which means I can roll out more of these free podcasts for you.
That's a very good point you've raised there, Pete, because how much does it cost for people to watch these? Nothing. It is completely free. So it's a win-win situation. Pete, what have we got coming up on the show today?
So, in this episode, we'll be looking at some of the incidents and operational training events that we attended in the last few months. But before we review the incidents, we're going to look at some of the community engagement projects that we've been working on in the last few months. We've used Christine, who works at Trowbridge Fire Station, to narrate this next section for us. And if you stick around until the end of the show, I'll be reading one of the many emails that we received about the podcast.
Great. So all that leaves it to do is for me to say, Pete, run VT.
Wesley Fire Station threw open their doors in December for a festive open day. Father Christmas took up station in his grotto after being rescued from the training tower by firefighters. Thanks to a number of local businesses, children received a present, with all donations going to the firefighters' charity. Added support from our partners, the Wiltshire Search and Rescue, Air Ambulance and the British Red Cross Emergency Response Volunteers ensured the event was a great success. Including the crew's yearly visit to local housing estates with Father Christmas and a vintage fire engine, they managed to raise over £4,000 for the charity.
Hello. Hi. I'm Michael.
Michael Tomlinson, MP for Mid Dorset and North Poole, was welcomed by Fire Authority Chairman Spencer Flower and the Chief Fire Officer Ben Ansell to Wimborne Fire Station in December. Officers and the station crew were on hand to give Mr Tomlinson a tour of the station and our specialist firefighting equipment. He took away a valuable insight into station procedures, especially as the crew had to drop everything to respond to an emergency call. We received over 1,000 applications for our recruitment drive for full-time firefighters, 15% of which were from women or minority groups. This follows our successful Have a Go days aimed to encourage more applications from women and other underrepresented groups within the community. We have now finished fitness testing all the applicants that passed the online eligibility screen, completed a behavioural style questionnaire, situational judgment and ability tests. 219 people passed this fitness test, and they will now go on to the practical and medical assessments and finally an interview. Supported by Fire Authority members, we have joined West Midlands, Warwickshire and Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Services by signing up to the Dying to Work voluntary charter. The charter aims to help employees who become terminally ill and is also supported by employers such as Rolls-Royce, Royal Mail and the Co-op. It is part of the TUC's wider Dying to Work campaign, which is seeking greater security for terminally ill workers. The signing ceremony took place at Springbourne after the fire station's Red Watch asked if we could support the charter during one of our question time phone-ins for staff. Our media and comms team were on hand to offer guidance to a production crew from BBC One's Countryfile programme for a piece on rural fire safety that was aired during January. Countryfile's Tom Heap interviewed station manager Jason Moncrief, carrying out a farm safety check on a farm near Devizes. Jason explained how we promote farm fire safety and the prevention activities that we use to engage with farmers. The programme also highlighted the difficulty the fire service has in recruiting on-call firefighters to rural stations, why farmers should consider applying, and to look out for have-a-go days at their local station as a good way to find out more. So that's some of the community engagement activities we've been involved in. Now let's have a look at some of the incident and operational activities we've been doing. We were called to Hodson Swindon one morning in November to find the roof of a thatched cottage well alight. In order to fight the fire, some 60 firefighters from 12 of our fire stations attended. Firefighters managed to save furniture and possessions from the ground floor of the cottage and were able to create a fire break in the thatch, which prevented the blaze from spreading to the neighbouring home. On such a bitterly cold morning, our thanks must go to the Canny Arms and the Plymouth Brethren for providing our firefighters with hot drinks and mince pies. There was also a huge amount of support for the affected family, and the British Red Cross Emergency Response Team from Swindon were on scene to provide additional help. If you live in a thatched property, advice on how to reduce the risk of fire can be found on our website, or call us to apply for a free Safe and Well visit. Crews from Salisbury and Wilton worked alongside the Environment Agency in December to test the deployment of flood barriers on the recreation ground opposite Salisbury Fire Station. Together, the teams familiarised themselves with 3 types of barriers and seepage pumps. In aero and geodesign are aluminium frames which expand into shape before being lined with a plastic sheet to create a waterproof wall. Floodstop is a plastic structure linked together for more specific uses. The exercise site was chosen because it is one of 4 areas in the city where temporary defence barriers would be used in a real-life river flooding incident. We've replaced Swindon and Westbourne fire stations' aerial appliances with 2 new Rosenbauer-built B-32 aerial ladder platforms, or ALPs. Instructor training was carried out at Salisbury Fire Station before moving the ALPs to their home station for crews to familiarise themselves with the controls. These represent a major investment for us, confirming our commitment to using quality firefighting vehicles and equipment to keep our communities safer. We have also pledged to purchase a new Rosenbauer 42-metre ALP, which is expected towards the end of the year. This will be based at Westbourne, with the new 32-metre appliance then moved to Salisbury and the existing Salisbury appliance moved to Weymouth. Around 25 firefighters from 5 stations tackled a huge blaze at a house in Westmoors in January. Unfortunately, the blaze was so intense that it ended up engulfing the whole property. But our firefighters worked hard, and with the assistance of crews from Hampshire and Westbourne's aerial ladder platform, did an excellent job to prevent the fire spreading to a neighbouring house by only causing damage to the guttering. Ambulance crews treated a man on scene for smoke inhalation and proceeded to take him to hospital for treatment of chest pains. A Hampshire fire investigation dog was called upon to identify the cause of the fire, and a 55-year-old man has been charged with arson with intent to endanger life. Firefighters used breathing apparatus to rescue a woman from the first-floor bedroom of a house fire in Trowbridge in January. The casualty was initially taken to the Royal United Hospital in Bath, but was later moved to a specialist burn unit in Morriston Hospital, Swansea. 6 fire crews from Trowbridge, Warminster, Melksham and Westbury were supported by the aerial appliance from Bath and our instant command vehicle from Devizes. Fire investigation officers suspected the fire to have been started deliberately and again worked with a Hampshire fire investigation dog and Wiltshire police to identify the cause.
Right, many thanks for narrating that for us, Christine. I think we're going to have a look at some of your emails that you've been sending in to us now. But before we do that, Pete, I just wanted to share with you a little something.
Oh, please do.
As you know, it's been about time for my 10-yearly office clean-up.
Whether it needs it or not.
Exactly, and I just wanted to show you what I found whilst I was tidying up. And I don't know if you can see that there.
Max, that's revolting. You carry that around in your pocket?
It's pretty good, eh?
Really?
I cleared everything off my desk, I wiped it all down, and I did such a good job that I actually had to recalibrate my mouse as well, because it wasn't tracking properly.
I think it's ready to throw away now, that one.
Oh, really? There we go. I just want to share that with you. Right. So what have you selected out of the millions of emails we've received this time, Pete?
Well, so for this podcast, I've just picked one email. Out of the few that we have received, this one I thought was of particular interest to us. And it is from one of our regular emails, Kingers99.
Kingers99?
That's right.
Do you perhaps think it's time to make him an honorary member of the show?
Well, he's been a regular emailer for some time now, so I think honorary member of the show, or even friend of the show.
Friend of the show. I got it wrong myself. So regular emailers, or viewers, will know that we have first-time emailers, regular emailers, and then for the lucky few, they go on to become friends of the show. So Kingers99's been emailing in pretty much every time recently, so I think it's time to upgrade his account.
Friend of the show, bathed in ultimate glory.
Or FOTS, F-O-T. Do like a good acronym. So what has FOTS Kingers99 got to say for himself this time, Pete?
Right, so Kingers99, I'm just going to read a couple of lines here. Hi Max and Pete, love the podcast. Is it true that there are more volunteer firefighters than full-timers?
Yeah, that's right. We do have more what we call on-call firefighters. We do have volunteers, but they tend to be based in the corporate side of things, not operational. So yeah, we have approximately 600 on-call firefighters and around about 400 full-time firefighters. Is that right?
I think that's right, Max, yeah. So, FOTS Kingers99 continues. Whenever you interview anyone, it would be great to ask them about their favourite type of roll. Is it cheese or cheese and pickle? There being no other types of roll, obviously. Well, Kingers99, you're forgetting about the classic baked potato and obviously the beans and tuna option, both of which go with cheese.
Ah, yes, of course. The baked potato or the cheese roll option that he's forgetting about there, Pete. Does he continue?
Okay, so Kingers99 actually does go on to continue, but he has some operational related questions, and I feel it'd be best to present them to a firefighter within our next podcast. So stay tuned for that. Kingers99 has gone on to include a joke though, Max.
A joke? Not another one. If I'd known he was sending us a joke, I would never have made him a FOTS. Are we legally allowed to strip him of his title so early on?
I think we are now legally bound by a verbal contract.
Go on then, I actually want to hear it now.
So, Kingers99, this is on air now. What does a Spanish firefighter call his two sons?
I don't know, Pete. What does a Spanish firefighter call his two sons?
Jose and Jose.
Right, that's all we've got time for. But before we go, I just wanted to bring to your attention two comments that we received on our YouTube channel from the last podcast that we released, and it made me laugh. So that Jamie wrote, "Great video, I want to be a firefighter." To which Watford_rule/Alex replied, "I want to be a cop, this channel is great." Sorry, that just made me laugh. So if you want to get in contact with me about the show, you can spell my surname. You can email me at max.furno@dwfire.org.uk. Pete, how can people get in contact with you?
As always, you can get in touch with me at pete.cole@dwfire.org.uk.
Quick bit of legal stuff, in that we do read every email that you send us. We might not necessarily read them on air, but if we do, we assume that you're happy for us to do so unless you say so in the email.
So we'd just like to take this opportunity to invite you to review and like our podcasts. We've got lots more planned for 2018, so please stay tuned to the channel.
Don't forget to have a look at our YouTube channel at youtube.com/c/DWFire. We're hosted by Podcast Garden. Just search for DWFire, and again, DWFire on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I don't have a catchphrase, but then I'm not a presenter, I'm a graphic designer. Pete, fade to black.
Adios.
That.
Action.
That's my job. That was wrong.
Oh, you were supposed to say that, sorry. I just took your line. It's all about you, isn't it? Don't forget me.
Over here, behind the camera.
That's a bit miserable, wasn't it?
Hey.
Maybe I could do children's books. So cheesy.
I think we've got enough of each now.
It's nice to be.
Make your nose.
Sorry. So, that's some of the community engagement activities. Alright, guys.
You can't actually see your hands.
Maybe we could offer it as a competition.
That's the GoPro. That's the punchline. It's still recording.
Don't you love it when you make up words?
There we go.
It wasn't us, we weren't here.